All right, and we are live with Juliette from the Netherlands. Thank you for
Yeah.
joining us today.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. So yeah, I guess we can start. Maybe you can just tell us about your background and sort of like how you got started with being a nomad, digital nomad, and sort of your journey to
Yeah,
where you are today.
cool. Yeah, so my name is Juliette. I'm 22. And I started my journey as a digital nomad like 14 months ago, more than a year ago,
Mhm.
December 2021. Yeah,
Mm.
so it has been a while already. So how did I start? I was studying and I really liked my study, and I started already an online business a bit at the same time. I do online marketing. I have a business in online marketing, and I finished my study and I wanted to travel, and I was just thinking about a way I could travel and make money at the same time, or how it was like I had to find a way. And then I figured out that like it's a good thing to work and travel together, but I didn't know that there was like that there are more people in the world who are doing that. That
Right.
there's like really digital nomad community. Um, so yeah, I just like started with it. I had some clients and I left. I just sold all my stuff, gave up the rent of my house and left to Colombia at first.
Mm.
Um, with a backpack with my stuff, and that was it. And from there, I
Nice.
had to build up something. And yeah, that's already like 14 months ago.
Wow. Nice. So 14 months. And did you go back home at all in that 14 months, or it's been constantly traveling?
Yeah, no, actually not really, because in April my grandpa passed away, and I was like, okay, I really want to be with family now. So I went back to the Netherlands for 3 weeks. So it was like a little break, but it didn't really feel as like being back.
Okay.
So more, it feels more like 40 months of full-time traveling. Uh, yeah.
Okay, cool. And yeah, I guess what do you do for work? Like how do you sort of do the digital nomad, like
Yeah.
the
So I
work
do
side of
online
it?
marketing.
Marketing? Okay.
I have my own business in online marketing. And what I mostly do is social media marketing. So I'm thinking about online strategies for companies. Almost all my clients are Dutch.
Hmm.
So I work with a time difference. That's quite hard sometimes, but it's
Hmm.
also challenging.
Right.
And what I mostly do is thinking about all the online strategies for them. So how they can have more reach online, and thinking about the strategy and making the content kind of. That's in general what I do. But I do some other online marketing things. So I sometimes build some websites, or do some branding, or like, yeah, different stuff.
Okay, that's awesome. And how did you get started in that? Did you just sort of self-study, or is that what you studied in school?
Yeah. So I studied media and communication. And so I already had like 1, 2 clients where I did some social media for before I left,
Hmm.
and I found out that I can do that remote. Like I can do that from everywhere. I don't need to be in the
Right.
Netherlands to work for them.
Yeah,
Um,
social media for sure.
yeah, social media is like perfect for it. So
Yeah.
I left, and then I started finding new clients. So I was looking on Facebook and LinkedIn and all these groups where like other entrepreneurs in, and just finding clients. And it was, of course, it was quite hard, but
Hmm.
at one point I found some clients, and then you have a little network, and then it grows, and then people will advise you, recommend you, like, hey, yeah, you, she's good. She's doing good at what she's
Right.
doing. And then, yeah, clients come to you. They reach out, and that's super nice, of course.
Right. Referrals and stuff. So, well, is there any like specific type of client you target? Like businesses
So
or
not really, first I had like a really target client, like a type of client. But at the same time, I just needed clients, so everyone was good, right?
Right.
But I have a kind of like a type because I only work with people who are really supporting what I'm doing.
Hmm.
So if they say like it doesn't work when you're like when you have this time difference and
Mm.
you're there and I just want to see your real life and it's difficult, then I always say like it's not a match because I will not be in the Netherlands to so we cannot have like offline meetings. It's all online. And
Mm.
for me that's all fine. It gives me so much more inspiration and stuff to work from here. But if they don't understand that and if they don't support me in it, then I think it's just not a match.
Mm. Okay, I see. Nice. And yeah, that's really cool. And then did you travel, you just went to Colombia, you said? Did you go to like Asia or other parts of the world?
Maybe one day. No, so I've been in
Okay.
Colombia for 2 months. 2 months, yeah. Then I went to Panama for 3 months.
Oh, nice.
From Panama, I kind of went to Mexico. And I really, really loved Mexico. So I stayed like seven and a
Mm.
half months in Mexico.
Ah, nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and at the
which
moment I'm
part of
in Ecuador.
Mexico?
Sorry.
Which part of Mexico?
So I've been kind of like all over Mexico. I started in Cancun and made my way all the way to Mexico City, but I didn't do the west part of it. Like
Okay.
you can also go west, like more west of Mexico City. But so it was in Cancun, you have like Yucatan area, and then I went to Campeche, Chiapas, and then to Oaxaca, and then to the coast where I stayed a bit. And from the coast, I went up to Mexico City.
Nice. Oh, that's great. And how's your accommodation? Do you sort of stay in hostels or Airbnbs?
Yeah, it's I try to find a balance between the two. So always staying in hostels, then I will be crazy now.
Okay.
But I think it's a good way to meet people, to socialize, to yeah, be surrounded with other travelers. But at the same time, it could be a bit annoying, like um, being with people all the time who are mostly leaving after like 2, 3 days. And then you think like, oh,
Right.
this is a good connection. This is super nice. And then they're leaving already because they're not working. So they're just backpacking and they're traveling and they're moving a lot. And I'm staying mostly like staying longer at places. So yeah, but sometimes I also have Airbnb and then I have to meet people in other ways. I have to
Right.
find other ways to meet people then.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of tough as a nomad to sort of form the community and make, you know, long-term friends.
No, yeah, and a co-living.
A
So
co-living space.
at the
Nice.
moment, yeah, at the moment I'm in Ecuador,
Hmm.
and I'm like in a co-living on the beach. So there are more
Oh,
people who
that's
are living
awesome.
here and working. So we have like a great co-work space with ocean views. It's amazing. It's dark
Wow.
now, otherwise I could show it.
Okay. Right. Yeah. Wow. That's great. So, yeah, co-living. And has the Wi-Fi been pretty good all the places you've traveled?
No, 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 not at
No.
all.
Okay.
Mexico was quite bad.
Okay.
uh,
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Sometimes
true.
just the Wi-Fi was gone there for half an hour, and it's like, okay, yeah, this has to
Right.
be. I don't know.
Yeah.
Um, no, but sometimes the Wi-Fi, yeah, it's hard to find good Wi-Fi sometimes.
Yeah, right. I think especially South America, it's can be quite a challenge. But
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. So you asked me if I was only like I've been in Latin America, but yeah, so it's Colombia, Panama, Mexico, and now Ecuador.
mhm.
Um, but I really want to go one day to Asia and stuff, but later.
Right. Yeah, take your time, no rush. So, Yeah. So how's your like work-life balance? Like how do you work full-time or is it more just part-time?
Yeah. Um, it is it's part-time, but I try to like find a balance in it. And the first months I was like really struggling with it. And now I think I finally found a balance between um being Airbnbs and more focused on work and or being Airbnb or co-livings. Um where I can like more focus on work and take more time off for myself too, and a balance between more traveling life where I'm like a lot with people, working less.
Mm.
Yeah, always try to find a balance between these. And that makes it like super challenging and exciting at the same time.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. What do you think is the most challenging part about your lifestyle?
I think this balance is like the most challenging part to
Mm.
find the balance between not the typical backpacker's life where you like where you're moving a lot every 2 3 days to a new place and like doing a lot, and super normal work life where you have to work every day. Between this is like or more the life where you stay 3 months in a place and work every day from 9 to 5. Like I'm in the middle of these. Like I'm traveling a lot, but at the same time I'm also working.
Mm.
So I think that's the most challenging part, because if I stay in hostels, I meet a lot of people who are just like working, just like
And
traveling all
just
the time.
traveling, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Um, so it's challenging to say to myself like, okay, no, today is just a work day and I'm not um like I'm not chilling today, or I'm not doing something nice, like nice today, but like not a nice activity or something.
Right. Yeah, exactly. You need that
Yeah.
sort of discipline to
Yeah, of course.
live
And
life.
the other thing that's kind of like challenging, of course, like having contact, like still being in contact with everyone from home or from the Netherlands. Like
Hmm.
friends and family, you want to keep in touch with everyone, but that's sometimes kind of hard because you're also really living your life here and you want to enjoy your time, or I want to enjoy my time here, but at the same time I want to like keep in contact with them all.
Mm.
um
Right.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, it can be a struggle for sure. So,
yeah.
yeah, cool. Nice. Do you have any favorite experiences so far on your journey?
Sorry, the connection was lost
Oh, sorry.
again. What did you say?
Yeah, do you have any like sort of favorite experiences you've had so far as a digital nomad?
My
Yeah, or any like interesting story or
favorite experiences now, like I figured out that staying in co-livings is super nice, um, because you're surrounded with people with the same kind of mindset, and that's
Mhm.
super inspiring. Um, and I think like in Mexico, I stayed in a place it felt like home. It was a super nice place next to the beach, and I met
Mm.
some other people there who are also working and also having this balanced life between having a great time and exploring a place, but um, at the same time working a lot.
Mm.
I think that's like Mm, a favorite, like I don't know if it's like a favorite part, but figuring out that if you stay longer in places and you make good connections with people, that's super important.
Right.
Um, yeah, super special. So yeah, and other like really stories. I don't know. I do so many things. I have so many stories, you know.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah, 14 months is a long time. So,
Yeah, and it's like mostly are more like travel stories and not especially digital nomad stories, I think. Like if I talk about
okay.
digital nomad, like it's more working.
Right.
Uh
Well, yeah, I guess travel stories too, because that's part of it. I mean,
yeah, that's true.
yeah. But yeah, that's awesome. And then in the co-living spaces, what kind of other people do you see there usually? Like their age? Are they sort of older, younger people?
Yeah, that's the only thing. It's funny that you talk about it because
Okay.
I'm quite young for what I'm doing. Like the most digital nomads I meet, they are like mostly at least 30, but mostly older. And I said it like I'm 22. So it's sometimes I can really get really good along with people from another age. But it's still
Mm,
I really see a difference that I when I'm in hostels and stuff, I'm with like 20 years.
right.
Um People are in their 20s and just like traveling a lot. And then when I'm in a co-living, it's more like people around 30, sometimes 40, sometimes older. So that's kind of funny. And it's also
Mm,
interesting that mostly it's like 50-50 with like entrepreneurs and people who are working for a company, like remotely.
mm, okay.
Um, and I thought before I started traveling, you can only do this when you have your own company, when you're an entrepreneur and you're, but you don't have to. Like you can also just work
Right.
for a company remotely and um, yeah,
Yeah,
just
exactly.
normal working hours.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
really different people. That's nice.
Right. Nice. So have you ever worked for a company or have you always been freelancing?
Always been freelancing kind of. Yeah, of course. I like
Nice.
while I was studying, I worked a bit in a restaurant and like event location and stuff.
Mm,
Um did some like at a bar and a restaurant and a bakery, but that was like when I was younger and after I finished my studies, I also worked in the sailing school. So that was kind of like working, but also not really because it's a sailing school, so it's a lot of fun too. But it was
right.
not a 9 to 5 job.
Okay.
Um, and of course, I did some internships while I was studying, and there I already figured out that it's not really for me to have like this 9 to 5 life where I have to work for
Yeah.
someone. Then you
Yeah,
don't have any
exactly.
freedom.
Yeah, you're
So
kind of stuck
it's kind of
to a
clear for
certain
me
schedule.
when I finished that I directly wanted to work as freelancer and have the freedom I wanted.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's great you were able to start right away. So, like some people it takes years and
Yeah,
decades sometimes. So, do you think you in the future you'll ever like settle somewhere, or do you plan to be a digital nomad for a
I don't
long
know. I
time?
really don't know.
Okay.
So when I left, I said to all my friends and family, yeah, maybe I'm back in 2 weeks, maybe 2 months. I don't know, maybe never, but no, I don't know. And now it's like, okay, it's already more than a year, and I'm not really feeling to settle down in the Netherlands. Um, because I just feel like there are so many more places to explore and to see on the world. And um, why should I like stay at one place? Um, but I also feel that I will travel in the future more slow than I'm now already doing, like staying
Hmm.
longer in places because if you really want to build up a business, you also have to slow down in traveling because you cannot do both.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
So like I did it a bit last year, but if you want to go further and you want to go bigger, then yeah, you have to slow down in traveling.
Yeah,
So that
exactly.
means that you have to just be in one place for a bit longer sometimes.
Yeah. So do you think maybe switching over to the entrepreneurial route is something you might consider?
Yeah,
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 nice.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Ah,
So
yeah,
yeah,
that's
I will see. I like at the same time I'm not really making plans. It's the end of like almost end of January now, and uh I will go to Rio de Janeiro in Brazil to celebrate Carnival. So that's
oh no
mid-February,
way.
and so far are my plans. So I know I'm there mid-February, and that's it. So I really don't know
Nice.
what I'm like, doing in the future.
Okay. Nice. That's also yeah, that's a great way to live life, I think. So
Yeah.
nice. So how far in the future do you plan usually? Like a month in advance or just spontaneous?
Yeah, really spontaneous. Sometimes you have to make some plans, or like people are visiting me, then like you're making some plans together already. Or I know like I made my plans for Brazil already in August, and I that was just because it's super popular to be in Rio with Carnival, so you have to book accommodation. Um,
Hmm.
but at the same time, I was planning that, but I didn't know what I was doing in the time between it.
Right.
So yeah, um, I think in general, I make a kind of like a planning for a few months, but not always. Like
Okay.
I also say always say like plans are there to change. So
Right.
yeah,
Yeah, you gotta be flexible, adaptable for sure.
exactly.
Yeah, I guess the question maybe what advice do you have for someone who's like maybe interested in being a remote digital marketer
Hmm.
and would like to become a digital nomad? Do you have any tips or tricks for getting started with that?
Just do it.
Just do
No,
it.
I think
Nice.
a good tip is to make a plan what you really want to. So um, set some goals like this is what I want to do, and make a plan to it, like little steps. So if the first step is um, I don't know, finding one client, that's the first step, finding one client, and focus for step by step by step. Because if you just think in general, like, oh, making money and I'm traveling somewhere on the world, maybe that sounds like something really big. But
Mm,
if you just do it step by step, make it super small, I think it's way easier. And for
mm,
me, personal, it felt way better when I didn't have to pay my rent every month anymore. And like, I just sold all my stuff and I didn't have like my rent or all these costs I had to pay every month. So I
right.
just went
Yeah.
to Colombia and I was sitting in a hostel, and a hostel is like 10 euros a night. So that's kind
Hmm.
of cheap. And I
Yeah.
always had this backup plan, like if it doesn't work out, I can always go back, or I can do some volunteer jobs somewhere. So if I don't make enough money, I can always like there are always backup plans.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's like
Um,
Woof or
so
Workaway.
that was really motivating for me to just go and
Hmm.
making money on the way, finding clients on the way. Um, because it's super motivating to if you know like, oh, if I find clients now, I can keep going with this lifestyle.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. So like, how did you feel when you were able to find your very first client?
sorry.
Uh, How did you feel when you were able to find your first client, your first remote client? Was that a
Yeah, yeah,
struggle
yeah,
to
yeah.
get the
I
first
think
one?
yeah, that felt. I think that was just like super nice, and then I realized that there's a way,
Hmm.
um, and I was super happy, and I was like, okay, I can do this, And if I have one client, there are more clients. That was how I was thinking at that point. And that's true. Like if there's one client, there are always more clients. But maybe you
Yeah,
have to search a lot. Um, and maybe it takes a lot of effort. But yeah, super
yeah.
nice. If you
Nice.
have this feeling like, ah, yeah, I finally have some clients and I have my like own business and I can work from here. Um, yeah, that feeling is great because you just realize that you can work from everywhere on the world. Doesn't matter where you are. The only thing you need is like your laptop and Wi-Fi.
Yeah,
Um,
that's amazing.
yeah, yeah, that's super nice.
Yeah. And do you do any other like side hustles or it's all mo marketing?
Yeah, I'm also writing a travel blog.
Oh,
Um,
awesome.
yeah, so I'm writing for a Dutch travel blog website. And the website has like one owner and there are like 12 bloggers were like all traveling or some are based in the Netherlands and traveling a lot. And so I write for the blog website a lot. That creates a little income. And then I do this mostly everything comes from my online marketing stuff.
Hmm. Okay.
Um, yeah, I'm thinking, yeah, I think that's it.
Nice. Yeah, yeah, that's pretty cool. So, yeah, yeah, that's a cool life.
Yeah, yeah,
Inspiring. So, yeah, and
yeah,
you're
yeah. I
starting
think so.
at
I've
such a
heard that a
young age.
lot, but I never really realized that it was. And then I was like, oh yeah, it's super cool. And now I think like I really like to inspire people with telling my story, and it's like, oh, so everyone can do it. Yeah, everyone can do it. It's not that I was super lucky or something. It just was like I wanted to live this life, so you created it, and I think everyone can do it. And realizing
Right,
that is
yeah.
what I think.
Yeah, it's a lot more accessible than a lot of people think it
Yeah,
is.
it
So,
is. But it sounds like something super big. But if you just think like what I already said, like you always have backup plans. If you don't make enough money, you can just and working as volunteer somewhere, or you can always go back. Like probably you always have like some family or friends where you can go back to, and then it's not the end of the world.
yeah,
So,
exactly.
but making that first step is quite hard, I think.
Right, yeah, especially for somebody who's working in a 9 to 5 job and they have the schedule set up and everything. So,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. I
really
can
hard to
imagine.
get out of that. But yeah, so awesome. All right, do you have any final thoughts or things you'd like to share?
Um, that I think that everybody has to live this life. No, not everyone, but I
Okay.
think if you really want to do something like it, or you just have to go for it, and don't take it too hard or too heavy. Like, um, yeah, I mean, like if you just if you just think easy about it, it's also it is quite easy. But
Hmm.
that, don't take it like really as it's something that is super difficult or hard to do. Because you can, if you create some work online in which way you want to, you can just work from wherever you want on the most beautiful locations. And
Yeah, yeah.
I will everyone advise to do that.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely something everyone should experience.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Or maybe it's
Well,
just
maybe
like,
not everyone, but
no, not everyone, because I also can really understand that some people like to be in one place and not
right,
moving stuff, and to have this like safety area where you grew up.
right, yeah.
But yeah, I forgot what I wanted to say. Oh yeah, that it's just something magical that you can be wherever you want and still live your life because you're making money at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's really amazing. And yeah, how is the cost of living in the Netherlands? Is it pretty expensive living there?
Mm. Yeah, it is pretty
Yeah.
expensive. Especially like Amsterdam, the rent is like super high there.
Mm,
Um,
yeah.
but in general, yeah, it's kind of expensive. Of course, you can find a way where you can live maybe a bit cheaper, but it's not like Latin America where you I'm just surprised every time again when I go to a grocery store. It's like, oh yeah, everything is so
Yeah,
cheap.
right. Yeah, or like the markets and getting the fruit. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And like hostel nights are euros, 10 euros a night, for example. And I think if you will find a hostel in Amsterdam, it's at least 30 euros.
Mm, right. Yeah, so like triple or
Like a
four
shared
times the
room,
cost.
like shared room. So
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
yeah, it's definitely something to consider when choosing the place to be a digital nomad. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 for sure. Like I would love to go to Australia or New Zealand, but at this point I'm like not able to do that because the living costs are just way higher there. So I have to make
Right.
more money to live there the same time as I can do here.
Yeah, exactly. You have to like double or triple your income, maybe even
Yeah,
more
exactly,
than that.
exactly.
So,
So when you're like building up a business, it's not a good place to be, of course. But when you're
right.
like in
Yeah.
a country like Ecuador, for example, where I'm now, um, it's easier because you're not spending that much.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. All right. So, yeah, we're almost out of time. So, all right. Thank you,
Cool.
Juliet, for sharing your journey as a digital nomad.
Yes, you're welcome, and thanks for having me.